Welcome back, guys, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. And after we've just seen First in Flight dominate their way through the lower bracket of the tournament, it's time for our final game of the day. And it's going to be In Bloom taking on Mercury Pencils. Now, Mercury Pencils, we saw some of yesterday. We got a little taste of how they might play, but In Bloom, we haven't seen much of those gentlemen.
Yeah, In Bloom is a big question mark for me because they played 2-3 versus the team that's currently in the upper bracket versus Word, which is Fireburner and NRG, or not Fire, which is Fireburner and Torment. Excuse me.
Nailed it.
And I don't know how Phenomenal XP, because they played Hawkcat, went 2-3, so it was a close series, okay. And then Phenomenal XP in the lower bracket just get destroyed by In Bloom, so it's like, wait, how did In Bloom lose their first round match and end up in the lower bracket? And I have no idea how we've arrived here.
Well, I know a detective, Jeeves.
Yeah.
He's very close to you right now.
Is it you?
No.
Is it that guy?
It's that guy over there.
That's unfortunate.
He never misses. That was terrifying, and I apologise to every single viewer that just had to see that.
You didn't have to see what Achieve saw, don't worry.
It's very true.
You wait until VR gets in this.
But I mean, you're really a man who loves an investigation, apparently, according to me right now.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
All right,
what do you think happened?
You've got a wizard hat.
I've got the wizard hat.
Sherlock
Okay,
hat.
but that's for predictions. Okay, that's the future. I am better at predicting the future than I am discovering the past. Okay?
Sherlock hat and pipe.
I'm not an archaeologist.
Okay.
However, there's one or two options here. Either number one, they just didn't turn up to play well at all.
Possible.
Or number two, they didn't turn up to play.
Possible as well.
And they just get DQ'd because of it. We're not entirely sure why. But speaking of first round heroes, we've got another one on the other side, Mercury Pencils.
Yeah.
Got first rounded by the guys that we just saw, First in Flight. Which, you know, you wouldn't be too surprised by that one, but they're making a run at this point. A victory for them means that they can go from there into one game away from qualifying. What a run that would be for whichever team manages to get through.
Yeah, it's so true. You've got to remember, if this is the last game of today, but if you win it, you make it to the final day of this qualification period, and you do give yourself a shot at qualification to those regionals, which is what this is all about. I mean, if that doesn't get you, pumped up for this series, I don't know what does. Exactly. You've got to perform.
We saw a team last week that we thought would have a decent enough chance at making it, and they still screamed, "We're going to DC, baby." Could you imagine the pop-off if one of these teams manages to make it all the way through to their own regional finals? We would have to get them on for an interview.
Of course. Well, we'd love to get them on for an interview because we want to, these guys, we saw it. We saw it in the interview that we had last week, how excited these guys are, how much it means to them to get through. You've got to remember, there's a qualification process before this. Now we're on the broadcasts. We're trying to qualify for regionals. You get to regionals, I mean, it's a $100,000 prize pool to be fought for here, and you're giving yourself the best possible opportunity.
I mean, you're giving yourselves perhaps the only opportunity, because, I mean, if you don't make, well, you know what? That's just going to sound dumb. You know, you're going to light me up like I did for the midfield line thing.
I was waiting. I'm not going to lie. I was waiting.
Are we letting him off if he cuts himself off halfway?
I was waiting like
I feel like I get off the hook for that
like
one.
a predator there, stalking his prey. Just waiting for that, but unfortunately you didn't give it to me. But, I mean, Mercury Pencils, we talked about it. We saw a little bit of them yesterday.
They played Verbelli.
They played Verbelli, and it was a difficult series for them, we have
5
to
games.
say. But they didn't come out on top in that one, but they would have learned a lot from that series. Now, going into today, we've seen how a team can change overnight. And what we've just seen previously from First in Flight. Do they have it in them? Do you think they've got the ability to maybe take some confidence and take some belief out of what they've just seen from First in Flight and translate that into their gameplay today?
I think that kind of works. Well, it depends. First and foremost, if they're watching the broadcast, I don't know if I would. I wouldn't want to psych myself out personally.
I would.
Yeah.
Do you really want to hear what we've been saying?
Yeah.
Ever? I can't think of a quicker way to demotivate yourself in the world.
But it is kind of that double-edged sword. I think I'd rather spend my time playing and getting set up. So I don't know if I've seen the. There's no other way to explain it. Inspiring performance by those guys. So. Mercury Pencils, they came out on top versus Brevelli. It was 5 games, and they're the only team we have any intel on. Again, it's always seeing these players come out of the woodworks. Jit and Perma here. I mean, let's see what you can do, and they start off brilliantly. They win a kickoff 3 seconds in. All right, welcome to the Universal Open.
I was going to say you should always go with the devil you know, but also go for the devil that just really recently impressed you within the last second or so. So I'm going to go for that one at this point.
Yeah, the wizard hat screaming in bloom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more surprised the wizard hat even fits my head, to be completely honest. That was a prediction I couldn't get right. This is going to be a fantastic start, and it's going to get even better. 2-0.
How did this one happen? Let's see.
I'll tell you what, our detection earlier on, trying to figure out whether or not it was a DQ or whether or not it was just a romp, hasn't been helped
I
by
agree.
this scoreline.
There's zero indication. But, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start to the broadcast.
Oh,
How about another one?
It's going to just take
man.
it again. Oh, my.
It's
in
like
bloom. Welcome to the broadcast. There's no jitters whatsoever. This is
Wednesday is
destruction.
It's the light up the scoreboard day, apparently, here on week 2. I mean,
you tried doing your math earlier on. Come on, let's get it out again. 3 every 20 seconds. That's going to be time 3 by 9. 5 times 9, 45, I believe. So
they can get 10
we're
goals.
on course for 45 goals this game.
I would not be able to math that one out fast enough.
I was able to. Be impressed.
Proud of you.
I'm proud of you as well.
8.5 out of 10. Always room for
got B in
improvement.
my GCSEs. Can't remember what Pythagoras is anymore, but I've still got the GCSE.
He's the one with the triangles and stuff.
Well, as much of our laugh as we're having right now, In Bloom have been deadly serious, and they've been deadly in front of goal so far.
Or they're just giggling. They're just like, this game is easy.
I can guarantee you, with this much money on the line, you know how much this means to some of these players. In fact, most of these players. $100,000 to win. And it looks like In Bloom are happy just to slow down the pace. Suddenly seems like my 45 might have been a slight stretch. But Jit is going to make his defense stretch for that one as Vandry keeps that one out of the net. And that is going to be an accidental block, cutting out.
Smart.
Good opportunity to get back in. Jit, who has had a phenomenal opening minute.
2 goals.
Seems like he has seen the marker set down by Sharif and says, you know what, you ain't nothing.
Yeah, he's like, wait till I get on the pitch, yeah. What I do really like of what I'm seeing from In Bloom, they are utilizing the space available to them very well. They know what's in front of them. They know what they can and can't do with the ball. Yeah, they didn't win that challenge, but they see the space and they're willing to use it. They don't rush a play, and I really like that.
Perma tried to go for the shot. In Bloom just happy to slow down the pace at this point. They recognize they've got the 3-goal lead. They haven't really got to do too much more. We usually say 1 or 2 definitely is not safe in threes, but if you drop a 3-goal lead, you definitely did something wrong.
Golden number a lot of times. 3-goal lead is a safe margin to say the least.
You say 2 goals to the cushion, 3 goals, that's a blanket.
Yeah.
It's going to go
they
far,
give one
but
back,
Perma
maybe.
should be able to get there in time. They need a lot more power if they want to get that one through, and then it's going to be another great
Can he
challenge.
chase it?
Perma can get himself up there. 2 goals for him, 2 goals for his teammate, 0 goals on the side of Mercury Bloom.
And Mercury pencils.
Mercury pencils, I'm
Baited.
See, I'm trying to take it to the next level right now. We've seen a lot of teams out there, they're naming themselves as a mixture between the 2 names. I'm trying to merge teams.
To merge teams, you would want the Universal Open closed qualifier hyper team.
Oh, chaos tournaments coming our way. It's going to be a good shot, but Vandry couldn't get across the ball enough to take
We should try some chaos in Stadium when it comes out.
Try everything on Stadium, trust me. That's going to be him trying to go
there.
the entire length. I tell you what, that might have way more success than we do on Stadium.
It really might. It's a clean air dribble. It's just like they give the space to him, and the best part is he reads the defenders clear all the way home. He gets that last touch. He says, "Yep, it's going out to the left." He just cruises into the left-hand side, smashes it right home. This is textbook from In Bloom.
In Bloom have just been setting themselves up for success. I believe they would have been put down here by FlyQuest, so a loss there would not be surprising, as good as In Bloom have looked. Really have just looked at both of these teams and just gone, you know what, it makes sense that you might have lost that previous round. That'd have been back in the upper bracket round 2. Vandry just trying to open up the scoring for his team, but Jit won't even let that happen. And there is sort of like a block that begins to happen the longer you go without scoring. It happens in 3s. It's even worse in 2s because you should be scoring more often.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And the crazy part is they don't even look like they're trying. It's like Vandry and Deck just... They're being bent to the will of Jit and Perma. It's like, you don't have a choice but to do exactly what I want you to do.
And we just saw Mercury Pencils on stream yesterday. They weren't playing at this level of speed. They've been forced into a pace that they have looked uncomfortable with at this point in time.
Well, if you remember yesterday when they played Corelli and Verbluten, they got boxed into their own half quite a bit, but they were able to hold out a lot against the offense. They had to make a ton of saves yesterday, and they really put the defense to the test. And this time around, it's just the defense is not holding up. Look at this touch from Perma.
Well, this has become a midfield battle, and it's a very one-sided battle at this point in time. 6 goals to nothing. And that is just a sublime shot. As pretty as they come in Bloom. I think the only thing that they care about that's pretty is that scoreline right there.
6-0. Devastating game 1. How do you even bounce back? It's like, what?
You pretend it didn't happen. That's all.
That's the only thing you can do.
Say.
It's like if you're Mercury Pencils, you're like,
oh, this could be that best opportunity for a goal, and they finally got one on the boards.
And you know what it took? The biggest defensive blunder you could hope for. The teammate bump, and then again, and then Deck says, hang on, one more for good measure.
That's actually a pretty good bump from Deck.
The adjustment from Deck at the end was perfect, but the first 2 big misplays by Jit and Perma.
Well, Mercury trying to find some sort of momentum to go on their side, but it's got to be said, this first game
destruction
has been a confidence killer for them. Jit wants to try and add one more to the scoreline. The potential to make the scoreline just look that little bit more respectable, as Jit will not allow that ball to go into the back of the net. One more opportunity. Flicked up. They're both are in the corner. That will not leave any options to shoot. That's going to be Jit trying to pad the scoreline a little bit more. And he's going to pass it straight off. What a great guy. Perma, I don't really think he needed more goals. That's his 5th of the game.
Yeah.
But 7-1 in Bloom. Looking like they could be in the next round.
I mean, you keep that up. The best part is that it was just so... It was so textbook.
It wasn't so comfortable.
The craziest goal in that game was that air dribble by Perma. Other than that, it was just, we've got space, we're going to use it, we're going to challenge the ball well, we're going to play the ball well on defense, we're going to clear it to space and chase it down, we've got control of the boost, and then we're going to win the game.
Onset, I want to pass this over to you. If you were playing in this team right now, and that had just happened to you, I mean, I know you've never lost a game in your life, so we're putting you into new territory here. If you were in this position,
you're asking me to say something that's never happened, but I mean, what can you do? I mean, again, it's one of those situations we can sit here and kind of pick apart what's happened and, you know, what they could do differently, but at the same time, I think you just have to give all of the credit to In Bloom here. I mean, I think they're outclassing their opponents, and we could joke about it, and we could say to, you know, Mercury Pencils, maybe try again in a month's time or so, because it does seem like there's just a gulf between these 2 teams at the moment.
Now, the good news for them is that it can't start any worse. That game was over within 18 seconds.
It's very true, yeah.
3 goals for 18 seconds of even gone through. So for Mercury, they can sort of like chalk that off as a one-off game. You know, they have
That is true.
It is possible for them to do that. But if another goal goes in early for In Bloom this upcoming game, it's just going to come reeling straight back, and they'll go straight back into the same state.
Yeah, I feel that they just, again, we have to talk about small wins. You have to start from somewhere, don't you? Again, we talked about how important a first goal can be in a game, just for momentum. Maybe they just got to get that first goal on the board. Just install a little bit more belief back into their play. But it is going to be tough. I mean, we can paint it all the colours in the world, but at the end of the day, you know, it was a bit of a stomping in the first game, 7-1. It's going to be difficult for them. However, I believe in them. I believe in them, and I'm sure there's some people at home who are with me as well, because we like just, you know, disagreeing with everyone else. But well, anyway, it's going to be tough, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think if they can't at least get the first goal, what you would like to see out of Mercury Pencils is they at least lock down the first minute. That's all you can ask for. Keep the first 60 seconds under wraps, at least go a little back and forth. You don't have to try anything crazy and generate a massive chance. Just keep the scoreboard at 0-0, and then you can really settle into game 2.
Well, hopefully they can do that. Hopefully they can settle down a little bit more. We're into game 2. Once again,
how about it? How about it? Never mind. Forget all that.
Jeeves. There we go. That's what they needed, gentlemen.
It's like we can't get the game thrown over to us without a goal being immediately scored. But for Mercury Pencils, that is perfect. That is the start they needed. It didn't have to be great. It just had to be a goal. And to get it almost as quickly as their opponents did last game, that's huge. The question now becomes...
Now you just locked down the first minute.
I think from what we saw earlier on, that early goal, never enough. You have to keep playing this one, but at least they're not over and done within. I mean, by this point, like
they were
right
down
here,
by 3.
The game was over. So this is already more of a match.
Yeah, but you definitely do not want to concede an equalizer quickly. You'd like to see them hold on to this for a little bit and start to really feel far more confident in their ability to match up between these two guys. This Perma around the corner, pass to middle, denied.
Vandry. I see Deck come in and take the ball. Now it's going to be up to Vandry, who manages to use his opponent's card just to ricochet the ball up a bit higher. That was a good challenge, but Vandry was already taking himself out of the play. Would I like to have seen him commit to that challenge because that was a terrible ball played by Perma. Straight into his body. And now he's just hounding away at them from behind, but on very little boost.
Real awkward setup here for Perma and Jit. They don't have a lot of boost. Deck and Vandry really limiting a lot more of the options they have.
There's a lot of balls being hit by this blue team that really don't seem like they were meant to go anywhere. Another one played over to the corner.
They just don't have boost. They can't get set. Perma missing that one too.
Whoa, this could be number 2. Straight across the middle. Oh. And Mercury have turned the tables.
I thought that extra touch right there might have taken this ball away here from Deck. Turns out just enough. Vandry doesn't panic. Still puts the ball on target. But man, the difference maker right now is Deck and Vandry. They are definitely winning the boost game.
Certainly are, and this is the first time we've seen In Bloom in defense, and they have not looked solid at all. Very panicked.
Agreed.
Touching that, like, if you're low boost, control the ball at the very least. Force that challenge. And buy yourself some more time rather than just trying to hit and then find another way of getting back. Some level of boost. That is a poor infield pass, but Perma can take it away. Now he's going to keep following up. One boost on him.
Oh, he had a choice to make as that ball was rolling up the sidewall. I went to his player cam to see how much boost he had. He had 0. He could have just left that ball, went and grabbed the boost, and now he's got to waste more time and give a free chance here to Vandry and Deck.
Vandry tries to go through. He does win the challenge. Perma is out for the time being. Just has to beat the man, and he has managed to do so. 3-0. And all of the good work from In Bloom from the last game has disappeared.
Dripped. I don't know if you agree with me, Shogun. I honest to God think that goal goes all the way back to them getting a little bit too greedy for the ball. Because they had to give it away anyway. And then they didn't have boost to really get set in position on defense.
There's a lot of time, especially in twos, where you're in no-win situations. You've just got to lose it in the best way possible, if that makes some sort of sense.
Yep.
You've got to do it without causing too much havoc for your teammate. And in Bloom, they're trying to be heroes all the time. And it's just causing more and more problems for them. Maybe the last win being as good as it was has made them too overconfident. Maybe they're insulted by the idea that this game is going so far against them. Because they're trying to play this game as if they're 5 goals up. They are not 5 goals up.
No, they are not. It's kind of, it's the reality check game right now for Perma and Jit. I was honestly expecting them to just come out here and wash, rinse, and repeat game number 1. And it's good to see.
It's a good challenge there from Jit.
It's just good to see that that won't be the case. But I do think Perma and Jit think they've finally managed to settle themselves in. Oh, that would have been nutty. And as I, of course, said that, I was about to be proven wrong.
I mean, the main thing to take out that last game is it wasn't really the way a typical game of Rocket League goes. You don't see games done that quickly. As Deck, he's backwards for the save. Can make life so difficult at times. But he comes out phenomenal. Puts that one straight into the crossbar. Now Mercury holding on to their clean sheet.
1-on-1. Oh, he got caught moving forward. Oh, Perma. One slight misstep and instantly punished.
In Bloom, they've just not managed this game correctly at all. Constantly a step too far forward. They don't really respect what Mercury Pencils can put forward on the offense. And if you just take a step or two forwards,
would you? You just 6-1'd him.
I'm always very concerned about my inconsistency.
I didn't know you could do that, Shogun.
What, be concerned or inconsistent?
Yes.
By the way, Mercury Pencils are well on their way to achieve at least one thing that In Bloom did not in game number 1, which is keep that clean sheet.
Oh, what a bump.
After a game where you've had 7 scored against you. To take that average down to 3.5, well, still quite high, but
still quite high.
It's definitely not as bad as 7. There's some more bumping in the midfield, but Vandry corrects himself just quickly enough. Midfield boost taken. I don't think Vandry's got anything to keep that ball going. And now, his team has been taken out. Vandry gets another boost stolen from him.
Oh, that's
In Bloom, they've got
bump.
to score off this. They've got nothing on the side of the orange team. And finally get broken down.
And I think well, obviously they really needed that one. But in the manner that they scored it is what I was really impressed with. It was pressure. They realized it was a strong chance. And they followed it through to its conclusion for good or ill. A great heads-up play in front of the net to ram that last defender out.
There's a level of discipline that was maybe needed a minute and a half ago.
Yeah.
Where they recognized, okay, these guys can defend. Let's take our time. Let's starve them out.
But I just think it was good because that was an earned goal. That wasn't something where Vandry and Deck were like, let's go do a silly double commit and get beat like this one. And that was something they had to work for. And, you know, they know they're going to lose this game, but I think they take that goal and say, all right, we know we're capable of that. Game number 3 is going to be a much different story.
Such a Rocket League moment right there. We've just seen a goal where it took boost steals across the entire right-hand side of the pitch. You don't allow anything to go past you. You've starved out your opponents, and you've left it in a situation where they can do nothing to defend. And then the other team just...
And then the other team just scores.
Go straight down the middle. Deck will turn into his own net. Might as well speed up the process.
Why not? Why not? There's one for charity. How's that? No mercy on himself. He knows they made a mistake. He says, here, allow me, Jit. I've got this one.
I think they just want those few extra split seconds to get one back. If you score in your own net quicker, if it's already guaranteed, you get that little extra second or so to score another one. And they're going to try and go for it.
They might get it. Oh, my goodness.
Just scoops that one into the air.
And Perma, not a gentleman, denies it at the last second. But Mercury Pencils, that is a much-needed victory in Game 2, and in brilliant fashion,
That one was like an underarm throw to end us right there.
The softball pitch.
Yeah, softball pitch, but
slow
you
pitch.
Released way too late.
Slow pitch softball.
Does that still... If it lands in the right area, can I just launch it into the air?
I mean, sure.
Actually,
in slow pitch, in slow pitch, yes.
Okay.
I'm genuinely at a loss. I did not expect that. I have to be honest with the way that In Bloom performed in that first game, you know, the way that they won as well. Maybe some overconfidence going in, and that cost them because they went down pretty early in that second.
Well, it's the first time we've seen it, not only this week, but last week as well, where we've seen a team get just destroyed in Game 1, and they've come back and destroyed back in Game 2. I've never seen such a spread of results. I'm not even going to say during the Universal, across my entire career, I've never seen such a difference between Game 1 and Game 2.
Do you feel, Chiefs, that it might be a case of overconfidence? You come off the back of a result like that in Game 1 and maybe you go into Game 2 and you take your foot off the gas a little bit, or do you have to give more credit to Mercury Pencils than maybe, you know, I am giving them? I
feel Mercury Pencils earned the respect that they were due in Game number 2. I don't think it was a case of In Bloom taking their foot off the gas. I think it was a combination of, okay, Game 2 started off poorly with the kickoff goal, much in the same manner as Game number 1. And then after that, Mercury Pencils really took it to them. Again, it all goes back to that boost control, forcing the opposition to do what you want simply because they have to do it. They don't have the boost to do whatever they want. And I think Mercury Pencils did an excellent job of controlling the pitch in this game.
So, Game 3.
I ain't got a clue.
You knew exactly.
Overtime, 1 goal. There we are. There's the prediction.
Shogun's beating me to it. But, I mean, it's so difficult to predict the series. Like you've said, like none of us here on the desk would have predicted that would have happened. But talking of Game 3, it's time for Game 3, gentlemen, isn't it? So should we get into Game 3?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get
Do we score in the first 5 seconds?
For my prediction to be correct, I hope not. I need 0 goals for 5 minutes plus.
All right.
So I'm holding out hope. This is going to be Deck by himself. Good save. That's 10 seconds down. I'm much closer to my prediction being correct.
Well done. You've made it through a small portion of it.
Deck takes the ball by himself. That's not going to be doing too much, but he has got a bump. Perma's
oh my
really
goodness!
Struggling.
What a play!
And my prediction's wrong.
That might be assist of the day right there.
That should be assist of the day right there. Wrecking
bam,
ball.
Bam!
It's like the most graceful wrecking ball I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was more the decision to turn into a wrecking ball. You know, it's like, I'm a beautiful ballerina, and now I'm gonna smash your face.
That was incredible, that play forward. Now Perma. And Jit, it's just... It's gone against
does it
him
go
so
right back?
quickly, and that's off the post!
That one cuts deep if you're Perma and Jit.
They were just playing so well in game one, and now nothing is going for them. Straight back out. Oh, double tap. I don't think, as close as that one went to net, he really wanted any of that one. Now Vandry come out the challenge well.
Ooh, that was scary. Vandry wanted the demo. Didn't even care about the ball.
It's going to be a low boost on Perma as well, because Vandry did take the corner. And he's missed the other corner as well.
Now they got to back out.
Pass into the middle. Touch there from Vandry. Won't be great. It's going to offer plenty of time for Jit to try and get back, but the bump does help out Mercury Pencils.
I like that play from Perma there. He saw Jit get bumped and he said, I need to buy a little extra time. Took it on an attempted air dribble, just bought that little bit of extra space for him to work with on defense.
Chance there for Perma. He's beat to the ball. Now Deck against Jit, and Deck has actually smashed himself into Jit. Follow-up shot.
Oh, man.
Should have put it off the backboard. Vandry was around. He was going to be there for the follow-up, and they had one person to beat.
Tough one. Perhaps a little greedy. I feel like if he went off the backboard, it gives the defense a chance to make that save, and it really is, you know, a million different ways to skin a cat. This one out in front, Jit on the dribble.
Vandry with the block. Perma takes over off the backboard. Saved again. In Bloom, trying to find a way back into this game. Only a goal down. And for the first time in this entire series, we have not seen a goal followed up by a complete romping up of the scoreline. It's the first truly close game we've had.
Yeah. 1-0's looking pretty good, Sugar.
I should not have added the overtime. I've overcommitted. I've overstretched on this prediction.
We can spot you the overtime. We will still consider you correct. Or at least I will.
You will. I'm not too sure Onset will.
Onset won't, but
wait, I know the Brits, okay? There's no way I'm allowed that. Jit takes his time. He goes for net, and he's gonna get it.
You're wrong, buddy. You're wrong.
Well, that feels bad, man, but it feels great for In Bloom.
Feels great is right, and actually, I think Perma might have caught a little piece of Deck there, so he couldn't cut in as soon as he wanted. And then Vandry just caught in that near post position, facing the wrong direction. Almost no chance to cover that far post. Well-placed ball.
1 goal apiece. Perma taking the ball for himself. He's got 0 boost. He's got a dream. Unfortunately, that dream was not as strong as the car of Vandry. Passing option is there. And it's just enough to try and stretch open the defense off the backboard.
Oh.
Deck has gone. I mean, Jit has gone, but Perma takes the ball for himself.
Big bump there from Deck on Perma. Otherwise, that was a fast break waiting to happen.
Up on the wall. There's no contact made. And Deck, I'm not too sure he's got boost on him. Got enough, but the back boost has been stolen.
He's got 70 on him. He picked it up.
Big bump. Perma was already leaving, though. And to be honest, I still think that was the correct decision. Even despite the bump, it looked like Perma would have been beat to the ball.
Yeah. Oh, 1-on-2.
All the way back. Deck is just going headhunting. He's found it. And now the flick too easily read. Perma pre-jumping the save. Minute and 20. The closest match of the series, and the match that puts someone up to series point.
Oh, hello.
Good block. Vandry has to do well. Jit waiting to see if a mistake will be made. And Vandry's just going to go the entire left. It's so dangerous. Perma was just a good block away from setting himself up for a goal.
Ooh, almost
Mercury,
a breakdown.
They couldn't have been forced further back. The pressure from In Bloom is suffocating.
No, I think they talked themselves into each other. They saw themselves both go on that back wall, and they said, hang on, do you have it? And I think it slowed them down enough.
Jit. Oh, the big block. Vandry has loosened the grip of In Bloom. Now I'm going to try and go for a block. He's got it. To the middle. It's a race for the ball. Vandry comes out better, and Jit committed pretty hard.
Oh, love that idea from Vandry. Just trying to get that quick cut into the middle, and still, Perma and Jit definitely forcing Vandry and Deck to play a lot of defense, but we saw this from them plenty yesterday. They spent well over 2.5, maybe even 3 minutes on defense, and they still hung out against Corelli and Verbluten yesterday, so I don't think this is bad for them.
It's definitely an area they've done well previously. Jit. Watch, you can see how trustworthy Vandry was towards Deck.
Not good enough.
Yep, 2 little boosts on Deck for him to loft the ball over Perma.
Oh,
That's going to be a shot attempt, but it will drop to the floor. I got the overtime right. I did not get the scoreline right.
Real close, real close.
I believe it gets me a C mark, which over here is still a passing grade. Now it's going to be Perma. He wants to pass absolutely everybody. 9 seconds is all it took. And In Bloom have gone up to match point.
That, you know, call me crazy, Shogun, that actually might be the dagger.
I'm not
Before game
sure.
3, because here's my reasoning. It's purely a mental thing. Because you played a not so good game number 1. You played a really good game number 2. And I think everyone on both teams kind of knew game number 3 is going to be much tighter. And you play a really
Don't make my
good...
mistake. Chief, don't make my mistake. I just tried to predict something, and it didn't go well.
Speaking of predictions, I mean, you didn't get anything right, Shogun, as usual.
Nothing.
However,
Zero of it.
Perma gets everything right in OT with that beautiful air dribble. I mean, what a way to win the game. And what was an incredibly tight affair, a completely different game to what we saw in game 1 and 2. It seemed like both teams had felt each other out.
Yeah, I mean, you really hope to see that same level of competition in game number 4, obviously.
That is just fantastic from Deck. Then you just have to applaud some of the goals that we saw. We saw less goals. It seems like we went for quality over quantity.
Yeah, for sure.
This time around. I mean, that's probably the weakest of the ones that we saw. However, immediately made up for by just this thing of beauty from Perma. If you're going to win a game, that's how you win a game.
And the thing that really hurts is that it happened so quickly into overtime. It's so strange to play such a tight game number 3 and be so back and forth or be so boxed in but not out of control, and then just to lose it like that is a kind of odd, slightly frustrating feeling, and I want to see how they react here going into game 4.
Yeah, I mean, game 4, I mean, we thought game 3 was going to be difficult to predict, but game 4, I like what you said towards the end there. You know, when we talk about momentum in a series, and when it's tied up that early and you do lose in overtime, when the series is tied up, now they have to win 2 on the bounce, whereas, of course, in Bloom, they just need this one more game. And that does start to play on your mind a little bit. You're thinking, I can't make any extra mistakes that I might get away with. Now it's all or nothing, pretty much, for these guys. Otherwise, they're crashing out. In Bloom, just one more game away. And, I mean, gentlemen, game 4 is underway. Shogi achieves. Do what you do best.
Thank you very much, my dude. And there's going to be Vandry almost setting up. Deck is already moving himself out. Straight across the line, and Jit with the save. There's some good points made. The last game was the first time that individual mistakes became as costly. In large games, it can get so much worse, but In Bloom has made Mercury Pencil's situation so much worse. That goal is going to be crucial.
Man, that's just a snapshot decision from Perma. He's got a choice there. He steals the boost, and he says, I can either rotate back and play this safe, I can just try and put this one into the back of the net. And, you know, you put a little bit of faith in yourself to make a play like that, and sometimes it works out. That's a brilliant shot.
Oh, double demo. But you are correct. There's a lot of teams that we've seen who get to a certain level in Rocket League. I look to Set to Destroy as my best example of this, where you can get to a certain level hoping your opponents make mistakes. And if you play solid, you can get there, but you put a cap on yourself. You can't go any further than that level. If you put the eggs in your basket, you're going to take some losses here and there, but you can let yourself get into these games. And Mercury Pencils have got themselves back into this game. Great block there from Deck.
Yeah, just a super aggressive challenge out of the midfield before In Bloom had a chance to rotate back on defense. And again, justly punished, as you might think. And we're back to 1-1. I kind of expect a similar game 4.
Jit. Tries to go
Oh.
for the double tap. He got contact. Unfortunately, he didn't get the follow-up explosion. Now Deck to the other side of the field. Jit takes the boost. He's taking his time. It's actually very awkward to defend from this position.
Well done.
And that's going to be a good tap across, and Jit
score.
has got it into the net. 2 goals to 1. It's a goal fiesta.
It's a perfect touch from Perma. I mean, you were saying not an easy position to defend. How about not an easy position to defend and get the pass out to your teammate? You could see Vandry and Deck. They weren't sure how good that touch was going to be. They were willing to take that risk and play really far forward, and they got beat.
I might send a message to both of these teams, because whenever we've seen teams commit too forward and be really aggressive, they've been caught out for it. Perma off the backboard. He's not got the boost for the double tap. Jit You can see how safe he actually played that one. He wants to play it out rather than going straight for the shot.
Not a good touch.
And there's the follow. 3 goals to 1. In Bloom have got the cushion.
And this one is advantage of position all the way. Vandry got caught jumping at that first one. Deck needs to get this one across the pitch. Give Vandry some space, some field of view to get a sense of context for the field. And Perma and Jit are just waiting there in the midfield like, I mean, you put it off the ceiling? Sure, I'll put it in, thanks.
Yeah, as soon as Deck had that contact, Vandry was on 0 boost. Over on that midline, he had no option, especially when what's coming towards you is an aerial. You can't really get over to that without any boost at all. Jit taking the ball for himself, flicks that ball upright. And then there's Perma. That 4th goal could very well have been the end of this game. Mercury pencils. I mean, you'd say you want them to, like, slow down the bleeding, but quite frankly, they haven't got any time for that. They need to keep up the goal-scoring spree on both sides. But Perma is a midfield option in Bloom, just thinking a couple of steps ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Perma and Jit are saying, oh, this is a clear, and Deck and Vandry are saying this is going to be a chance off this pass off the back wall, and they just failed to consider the possibility that maybe this ball gets cleared down the field.
I did not know your voice could go that high.
Oh, it goes higher. Just not on broadcast.
You know what? Let's not test that
Just
today.
not on broadcast.
Let's definitely not test that. Vandry with the shot. Mercury pencils have got a way back in. Remember, they must win this game.
Absolutely must win, and Deck doesn't come out on top. Perma gave him the respect, though, and Perma respecting that touch actually is what just opens the door for Vandry. Again, super aggressive from Vandry and Deck. He has the option to wait for that touch from his teammate, and then subsequently the touch from Perma. Neither of them happen, and because he's decided to put all his eggs in this hard push forward, gets rewarded for it.
Mercury pencils consistently trying to use that backboard to their advantage. It's going to be Deck, straight back down. Vandry, he's not got any contact. That should be cleared by Perma. He can go for it. He's 2v1. Deck has got to try and cover because Jit is there, but the shot is saved.
Oh, tough shot.
Oh, well,
he almost
read
got
by
it.
Perma. That would have been the assist of the day, and it wouldn't have even been his fault. This will be set back up, and achieves. Wow. We have got ourselves a real match.
Now, what I really like about this play is Vandry gets right in the way of Jit. Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought he might have clipped him, or at least boxed him out and stopped him from getting high on that pass. Never mind. Pure mechanical misplay from Jit on that back wall there.
In Bloom have got to calm this game down as quickly as possible. Mercury pencils starting to fire on all cylinders. Deck, very loose ball played by him. It's going to go over to Vandry. Not going to have a double tap as an option, but Perma. Over to Deck again, whose contact is not great at all. It's going to offer an option for In Bloom. But they've got in front of each other's way. Everybody out of position, which means that nobody can capitalize.
I thought they just pool-shotted him into goal there.
That would have been atrocious. That have felt so bad. Looking for the bumps. Vandry, he's got the shot!
Whoa,
saved by Perma. Deck just keeps looking for these bump attempts. And they keep working out. Vandry, he's up in a race. Picks up the boost, but the pass is out to Jit. Can he get the shot? No! Off the post.
Vandry,
what a minute and a half this has been.
They stick to their guns. Every time they go on offense, they send it all forward.
Oh, no!
Oh, and he doesn't have the boost. He's going to own goal it. No! Really?
I mean, you can see the contact from Jit. It's going to be...
That's just panic. He's like, I have to get this ball up off the back wall and clear it, and just,
You want to know how much this means to these guys? That right there.
You get pressured into doing that.
No other situation. If $100,000 was not on the line, no way does he make that mistake. And now, In Bloom, after it started to look like maybe the game was starting to turn against them, they have got a 2-goal lead re-established. But it might not last very long. Jit, just there in time. I can't believe he was able to read that play.
Another chance.
Jit once again. Perma, you owe that man quite a bit for some of these defensive moves that he's been making. Bad touch. Jit, he's looking at it. He's gone for the shot.
Hesitated. Hesitation for Mercury pencils here. Not a good touch from Vandry. Lands a little slow. Does he have boost? That's the question. No, he didn't have boost. He wasn't slow because he wanted to be. He was slow because he had to be.
Oh, Mercury Pencils. The architects of their own downfall so far.
Absolutely agreed. But, I mean, credit where it's due. They had a game plan in mind for this, and they've stuck to it 100%. Unfortunately, this time it just didn't pan out.
It was a phenomenal game, too, for them. However, it looks like this is where the run cut short. Absolutely great lower bracket run from Mercury Pencils. They're going to go for the own goal. It's not in.
How the heck
that's a
did
great
In Bloom
tournament.
lose day one? How? How did In Blues lose day one?
FlyQuest.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you for putting that into perspective. Thank you.
That is exactly how they lost. But, I mean, I
Because I
feel
was just going to be like, what?
Yeah, I feel really bad for Mercury Pencils there because there was a crazy minute and a half in the middle of that game where it was back and forth and we didn't know who was going to win. And then, unfortunately, we had a moment that we probably shouldn't talk about, but we have to talk about, unfortunately. If you want an example of what tournament pressure can do to players, this is going to be exactly it.
It was a great game, let's be honest.
It was.
Every game we've had so far, it was probably the best one we've had. I mean, it was a great start once again from In Bloom. Early goals was the meal of the day, it seems, from both these teams, but this was all down to pressure. We can't really criticize or analyze the Rocket League that we see in front of us here. This was just nerves, adrenaline, and heart making the decisions rather than the brain for the most part, and well, In Bloom came out the better for it.
Yeah, sometimes the nerves, heart, and adrenaline don't do your brain the bestest of favors. But
I mean, this was, look at the comeback we started to see. Mercury Pencils.
It was awesome.
4-1 down. Some great setup play. And
a couple of really great chances after that. And like you said, the only thing that got him out of it.
This is it, though. This moment here, I mean, you can almost pinpoint the moment that Deck's heart broke.
And it's like you could feel, it's like, because you know when you're in that situation and you hear the boost of the opposition's player in that left ear cup, and you're just like, I have to go now, I have to do something. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. And even then, after that, they still didn't give up. They pushed onto the opposition side. They tried really, really hard. And like you said, Jit and Perma had to make some huge defensive efforts to keep those other chances out and really lock that game down. So, In Bloom, please shock the world tomorrow. I would love to see that.
Well, that's true. They are going to be here tomorrow, and they continue their fight for one of those regional spots. But what is good news, we only had 3 games tonight, but they all provided an incredible amount of goals. Gentlemen, we had 78 goals
in
3 games.
scored in
3 games.
3 games today. And thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, that translates into 780 meals to be provided to the World Food Programme over in the USA. So a fantastic cause, of course. If you want to get involved, head over to WFPUSA.org/Universal Open. I mean, 78 goals in 3 games.
Who
Are you
were the people that
entertained?
didn't turn up? We would have. I almost guarantee we would have hit 100 if we got that 4th game.
Probably, yeah. I think so. We actually might have.
Well, speaking of some big plays that we had today, we've obviously had a lot of goals, but it's very difficult to score goals without assists sometimes. So our State Farm assist of the day is about to be coming up, gentlemen. Let's quickly, before it rolls. Oh, it's going to roll first. Don't worry about it. I usually get your prediction.
It's got to be from the 3rd match. There's no way Sharif gets an assist of the day from Coleman. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Here it is. Then.
Oh, it's the double bump. Yes.
Yeah, it's the one that we called for. It can be nothing else. If you're Vandry, you're looking at just going,
why, thank you.
If I miss this,
I will feel so
my teammate
bad.
is quitting on me right here and here.
Yeah, that basically the human wrecking ball through the middle there. Actually, I think you put it beautifully. It was the ballerina who, turns into kicking people in the face. It's as simple as that, and that's exactly what he did. That was your State Farm assist of the day, and well-deserved as well, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that assists of the day seem to... Have you ever noticed this, Shogun? Because I know you play a lot more Rocket League. No offense on set. But when you do the really awesome stuff in-game, you always lose that game.
Yes.
And that hurts.
See, I've set up a rule now, which is it doesn't count unless you win.
Ooh. Ouch.
which means that none of my good goals count anymore.
Totally counts. Totally counts.
You save the replay.
Have you ever watched the montage? I don't think if you make a montage, you don't try and win games.
But you always
Go
cut
for
out
the
the
magic.
scoreboard.
You always cut out the scoreboard.
Exactly. Because
they lose.
Montage. Well,
'Cause
now
they
that
lose.
today is over, the second day, of course, let's have a brisk bracket update and get you guys ready at home for what is going to be a fantastic day number 3 coming up. We're going to get our qualifiers tomorrow, and these are the teams that we have left. Just 4 spots left to fill. As you can see on the right-hand side there, we have Word still left in the competition. Hotcat E-Games will be taking them on. FlyQuest taking on Go Station, and then waiting for the losers of those 2 games, fighting out for a spot. First in Flight and in Bloom. 2 horrible teams you don't want to be going up against right now.
I'm just sitting here like grinning.
Horrible wins in, like, not horrible.
Yeah,
like, they're not
got you.
nasty people. They're playing well.
I'm grinning at the prospect of tomorrow because it's so many teams like Hotcat E-Games. It's like First in Flight had such a turnaround from day 1. In Bloom came out here, blew me away. I really want to see what Hotcat does tomorrow. I have no clue.
They've come into that game that they've got to get against Word tomorrow. They have had every single game they've had so far go to game 5. Not a single convincing win. They've got to take on the most difficult team in the tournament.
It's just Fireburner and Torment.
I was just about to say, you know exactly what it means, don't you?
Yeah.
When someone's game 5, 3-0. Yeah. No, we're only joking. Of course it won't be. But we always want to hear from you guys at home. And thank you to everyone who has used the hashtag and got in touch so far. Use the hashtag UOS2 to get involved with the conversation. We want to hear from you guys at home. We're excited for tomorrow. We want to know if you guys are excited as well. And let us know who you think out of the 6 teams we have remaining will be your 4 qualifiers. But gentlemen, it's time to thank you once again. Are you going to come back tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I
There you
can't
go.
miss
Dave
it.
Ray
They're
last
coming
week was
back.
fantastic.
Don't worry. I haven't sent them home yet. They're going to keep coming back. It's fine, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, it's been a fantastic day. Unfortunately, we had to send some teams home today. But tomorrow is all about sending teams through to qualification to the regionals. We hope to see you there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right.